It's 5 games, 5 minutes. Something I really like about ELIXIR is that it opens with an animated introduction, rather like a genuine, bona fide arcade game. It explains how Cyril the chemist has been reduced to the size of one of his medicine bottles, and how the object of the game is to collect 40 vitamin pills to restore him to normal size. Alas, from this point on the game goes very quickly downhill. It's actually quite a boring graphic adventure, one that looks lovely but has very little action and is extremely tedious to play. You make progress by climbing medicine bottles and trying, and in most cases failing, to leap from one to another. Often the routes you need to take are mind-bogglingly long. You might have to cross 5 screens to collect a single pill, for example. The different styles of foe on each screen are also disconcerting. It all adds up to a game that's quite a bummer. Instead of trying to avoid the unavoidable nasties in it, therefore, I recommend avoiding the whole game instead. The Survivors is an overhead maze game, and it puts you in control of 3 droids. At any time, you can take control of each of them by pressing key 1, 2 or 3. Each droid is of vital importance to an overall mission to rescue the survivors of the maze. The survivors look like humans in suspended animation. Droid 1 clears Earth from the caverns of the maze, making a path through the boulders and the survivors for his colleagues to follow. Droid 2 can collect the survivors and transport them out of the cavern. Droid 3 can push the boulders around, potentially clearing obstructions that bar the way to the other droids. This adds up to rather a tough little challenge, sort of like a cross between Repton and Zor. For obvious reasons, this is a winning combination. The only real issue is the scrolling, which is very jerky. Otherwise, The Survivors is a great piece of programming, and one that not a lot of people know about. It was one of the last Electron games released. Last of the Free is one of Peter Scott's formulaic graphic adventures, in which you play a droid trying to escape from a base overrun with mutant robots. I honestly do not know what speed Mr. Scott's brain functions at, but assuming he was able to complete this creation of his, then it must be about 10 times faster than mine. Last of the Free is so difficult, it's almost in another league. The baddies not only bounce off each other, and you, but when you collide with them, you and them both freeze in position until you retreat in the opposite direction. Throughout this, down goes your energy bar. Because it's almost impossible to predict how the roaming baddies are going to move, I've lost 2 lives just getting off the first screen on occasions. The elements of an arcade adventure are squeezed in there, but these elements seem almost incidental when survival has got such a high random factor. As I see it, any graphic adventure should give you at least a sporting chance to complete it. Last of the Free doesn't, so it can get lost. CAVEMAN is a game set in a gold mine, with its objective being the mining of 7 levels of gold. Basically it works like this. You grab your barrow and hop onto the lift shaft. You can push or drag the barrow around, and if you have it whilst you're mining, then you'll see it fill up. Once it's full, you can push it back to the bank to increase your score. If you don't have the barrow, you can mine anyway. In addition to using the lift shaft, there's a troglodyte that has to be avoided. You do this by tunnelling through the caves, automatically creating a kind of ladders and levels game as you do so. These are all quite interesting ideas, but CAVEMAN itself is a bit of a tetchy game, with everything existing in a somewhat precarious state of balance. It's too difficult to make any real progress, and far too easy to miss time stepping onto the lift or accidentally dropping all your gold into the furnace. Blast is an update of the classic game Thrust, but one done in full colour and with a much larger on-screen playing area. You control a small ship which can be rotated at any angle. You need to keep away from the walls of the caverns and the roaming nasties. To make progress, you need to shoot the alien command centres. Well, circle things. Destroying the last one completes the level. The game calls for real dexterity. Controlling the ship is by no means as easy as it looks. At the same time, you also have to think about rotating the ship's position so as to loose a few bullets at the enemies, or the circle things, and leaving enough time to recover without hitting a wall. Apparently there are only 8 levels in total. If you're really good at these type of games, and I know some people are, you'll probably find such a low number disappointing. Other people are going to find the game far too difficult to even get off level 1.